Conservatives plan to use Singh in latest non-confidence motion. And Trudeau says NDP turning its back on workers. This is the Great White North Report. So this is the story I've been following. It goes with the Liberals promising to give a holiday GST relief for 2 months. Now, I'm not sure how well that's going to work. It sounds great on paper, not having to pay the GST for 2 months. But somewhere down the line, someone's got to pay for it. Because that means the Liberals are going to lose a lot of income over a 2-month period at a time when they're running a huge deficit. We don't even have the fiscal numbers for this year yet, I don't think. They were supposed to release them last month in October and haven't yet. All I know is the Liberal government is promising millions of dollars here and there and everywhere, it seems, without a clue of how to pay for it except for to raise taxes. And now they're promising to give away a tax. So Trudeau was planning to lower that plus give you a $250 rebate check. Like, even to do that is costly. I won't see it myself because I just recently got re-audited on my income taxes and I made one small mistake. It's going to cost me $300. So next time I'm going to H&R Block, I'm not going to do my taxes myself. Let's put it that way. So the NDP says the rebate check should be expanded to include seniors, Canadians with disabilities. Why? It's already targeted to people who make less than $150,000 a year. So Trudeau says the NDP turning its back on workers by stalling over a $250 rebate check. It's going to take a whole bureaucracy just to decide who gets the check and who cuts the check and who sends it. Canada Post is on strike, so we know we're not going to get it in the mail. So Trudeau announced a multi-billion-dollar affordability package that includes a proposed 2-month GST holiday on some goods and services, including children's toys, beer and wine, and restaurant meals. That affects people who can afford to go to these places. As far as restaurant meal goes, like what kind of meal? Most people do their Christmas shopping in November, so that doesn't even help. Well, you keep a receipt and you can bring it back and get your GST back? Beer and wine? Again, none of these bother me. My kids are too old for toys. Beer and wine I don't buy anymore. I still have wine I haven't opened yet from 6 months ago. Even got a bottle of Screech I haven't opened yet. Restaurant meals, don't go to restaurants that often. And I go to McDonald's and I'll get a GST taken off? Timmy's? That'd be great. And plan to send $250 checks to 18.7 million people in Canada who worked in 2023 and earned $150,000 or less. So the House of Commons passed a bill to enact the tax holiday, which basically just the Liberals and NDP voted for, while the Bloc and the Conservatives and several independents did not. I think the Green Party did. But the government didn't include the rebate check portion of the NDP promise to withhold its support if the government didn't split the promises into 2 pieces of legislation. So the Bloc wants to give seniors that money. 18.7 million. I can see the fraud, the scam machine just going now. So the NDP turning its back on workers. No, we shouldn't be delivering this check unless we expand it massively. It's not recognizing working Canadians for the challenges they face, Trudeau told a news conference. I don't mind seeing seniors who have with a pension get it. But again, some seniors didn't work in Canada. If I remember right, that in that Hindu temple where they got attacked by Sikhs, the Indian consulate was there helping older Indians help with their pensions in India. So if they're getting pensions in India, they're probably getting a pension here in Canada. Why would I give them a GST check? So again, Jughead is demanding stuff, but he tore up his agreement. Now, Trudeau argued the rebate checks are meant to be targeted to measure to help hard-working Canadians who might be excluded from other government support programs, which would be me. I'm excluded from almost every support program. I get, other than child tax, which dwindles every year because they get older, I don't get a lot. I get nothing. I have to drive to work. It's a 50-kilometer round trip. So I don't get a carbon tax rebate even though I need that to go to work. So I pay the carbon price. I don't get a carbon price, Jack. Every tax season I'm getting dinged even more. it seems. And the Conservatives plan to bring forward a non-confidence vote next week that uses NDP leader Jagmeet Singh's own words in an attempt to convince New Democrats to bring down the minority government. Because they quote Singh as saying the Liberals caved to corporate greed when they ordered binding arbitration in the labor dispute involving the country's two largest railroad yards, and now we have a Canada Post strike. The motion concludes with a call for members to declare they agree with the NDP leader and for the House of Commons to proclaim it has lost confidence. So here we have 4 days. Opposition parties must be given 4 more days to introduce their own motions before December 10th. And the Conservatives are pledged to try and bring down the government at every opportunity. I don't think it's going to happen. The NDP are going to vote with the Liberals because they know the next election they are going to lose badly. The NDP know they can get more from the Liberals than they'll ever get from the Conservatives. So we'll see how that goes. Now, the 2-month GST holiday seems like a great thing, but it's not going to... Most people have already spent for Christmas presents, like toys. Now, for beer and wine, hey, Canadians will go for that. I think it's a tactic to get voters back. It's a bribe. Now, if they took it off gas, that'd be great. But that's digitally done, I believe. So it's already in the computer system. They have to readjust the computers on the gas pumps. Not sure how that works. Now, the government's going to lose all this money that they desperately need to fund all their other programs, which means they're running more of a deficit, and they're going to have to print more money. That it comes at December, January, so at the end of the fiscal year and the beginning of a new fiscal year is when this happens. Someone's going to have to pay for this down the road. Plus, they're going to raise taxes anyway on the carbon tax. It's going to go up again. Restaurant meals and takeout as well as beer and wine. Oh, Christ. Restaurant meals and takeout, so skip the dish is going to be busy. So the GST rebate beginning December 14th, the tax vacation will remain in effect until February 15th. So basically this has to go through the Senate first, and the Senate hasn't signed off on it yet, so it's still not law, and it might not even get through till by then, because I'll have to look at it and maybe send back a recommendation. I just think it sounds great on paper, but if you're a last minute holiday shopper like me, it might help you. But again, I would rather see other government programs fall by the wayside to check in inflation, because this is going to make inflation worse because the government's now going to have to print money to cover the cost. So I'll say this again, as far as this 2-month GST thing goes, it doesn't really help me any as far as I go. I think it's going to cause more inflation down the road because the government's going to have to find a way to pay for the money they're losing. This government needs all the dollars it can get. It's running a deficit spending, which means they have to print more money, which raises inflation, lowers the value of our dollar, and it's just not good, sound economic policy. What would have been better would have been to get rid of the carbon tax. That would have made more sense. That would have helped a lot of Canadians more. But no, they can't do something that simple. So I won't see any GST rebate check if it ever comes into law, if they ever decide to go that way. I mean, you think about the money they're wasting. When you think about that, $250 to every Canadian family, to about 18.1 million Canadians, that's about $4 billion. Over $4 billion. Where the hell is the government getting that money from? If they send a rebate check for $250, at a time when our defense needs up, we need to hit our NATO targets in defense. We're already spending $11 billion in foreign aid. Where is this money coming from? Nowhere. They have to print more money. It's inflationary. So as much as it looks great on paper, the GST holiday and the $250 rebate is not a good idea from a fiscal point of view. I'm looking at this long term, not the short term, and that's what Trudeau, I think, is hoping Canadians remember. The short term. This is why people want to come to Canada, immigrate to Canada, for all the freebies we give. So if this next latest non-confidence motion goes through, I don't know, has Singh got his pension yet? He might. If they can get it to go through, we'll have a February or spring or March election which is much more better than a Christmas election, which is what I think will most likely happen. We'll see a late, maybe a May election. Who knows? Jughead just might support his buddy Trudeau all the way up until the next election has to be called in October. But any Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think of the whole GST holiday and the GST rebate check. Leave comments in the comment section. Until next time, this has been the Great White North Report.